Hi everyone, this is part 2 to our series on direct proportion. If you haven't seen the first video, I've posted the link in the description box below. Now let's get started. So previously, we discussed two methods of doing direct proportion, and you really need to understand the second method to truly grasp method 3. This is what you will use for more complex problems. Okay, you want to follow these guidelines. Whatever you want to find is written on the right-hand side. Then you find for 1. Afterwards, you multiply by the required amount. And the last 2 steps would be familiar to you. We did those in method 2. So 5 oranges cost $25. What will 7 oranges cost? What are you required to find? We're required to find the cost of 7 oranges. Look at the first line of our working. 5 oranges cost $25. Remember, in our guidelines, it says, whatever you want to find is written on the right-hand side. We're looking at the relationship between 2 variables here. Oranges bought and the price. So again, since the problem asks us to find the cost, we write $25 on the right-hand side. So it's 5 oranges gives me $25. Or rather, $25 gives me 5 oranges. The first line is extremely important. Next, we find for 1. We know that we must divide the whole accordingly. Therefore, I must divide 25 by 5. And our last line requires us to multiply by 7. These steps should all be familiar to you. We did them in our previous video. So whatever you want to find is written on the right-hand side. That's for our first line. After, we find for 1. And finally, we multiply by the required amount. Let's look at another example. 3 packs of peanuts cost $12.75. How much will I pay for 11 packs of peanuts? Whatever you want to find is written on the right-hand side. The problem requires us to find the price, the cost. Therefore, the first line is written as 3 packs of peanuts, $12.75. The cost is written on the right-hand side. Next, we find for 1. We know that we must divide the whole, which is $12.75 by 3, so that's what we write. And finally, we multiply by 11 to get our answer, $46.75. And here's a third example. 7 apples cost $35. How many apples can I buy with $70? This time, the problem requires you to find out how many apples you can get, not the cost. Therefore, we write apples on the right-hand side. So $35 gives me 7 apples. The apples are written on the right-hand side. Whatever you want to find is written on the right-hand side. Next, as always, we determine the cost of 1 apple. And finally, we multiply by 70. Now, the only time that you start working out the sum is at the last line. You must know how to reduce fractions. For instance, in this example, I can reduce 7 over 35, or I can reduce 35 and 70 with a common factor, which is 5. Try it both ways and you can see which is better for you. 6 oranges cost $18. How many oranges can I purchase with $78? How many oranges? We're required to find the number of oranges. And remember, whatever you want to find is written on the right-hand side. $18, 6 oranges. Oranges on the right-hand side. Now, $1 we find for one. We find for one, we write that information. And finally, we find for 78, we know that we must multiply by 78. So $78 gives me 26 oranges. Okay, so I've created some problems for you to try on your own, and remember to follow the guidelines. So here are your problems. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful to you. Bye.